So when you're looking to dial for a Hall of Fame or just getting off to a successful start, you got to start somewhere, right? To be successful, you got to put the numbers in your favor. I'll start off with this, like I was listening to Kobe Bryant talking about, and it just resonated with me so much. He was 12 years old, he was on the court playing basketball, like he wasn't good. But 2 years later, at 14, he was the best player of the state. And he was telling this to his daughter, and he said, the reason that is because I was out working people, meaning I practiced 2.5 hours every day, 7 days a week, and everybody else was doing an hour and a half, maybe 2, maybe 3 days a week. I was definitely going to get ahead of them just because of the simple numbers and repetition. So the point I'm trying to make is don't overthink it. That's the biggest key I can give you. I was listening to something the other day. Anxiety and excitement kind of live in the same world. You're excited to make that phone call to take care of the client, which ends up putting money in your pocket, right? But there's also the anxiety. Those butterflies, if you will. That's okay. That means you're about to take action. So by taking action, you're gonna have good things happen, right? So the action that I would take is this. Monday, for me, was a dial day. So was Thursday. Now what I wanna do on those 2 dial days is I wanna book 12 to 15 appointments for Tuesday and Wednesday, right? And the same for Friday, Saturday. That's a Hall of Fame run. Now, did you have to run every Saturday? No. You could run Sundays too. Whatever it is that works best with your schedule. The key is aim for 30 appointments. So on Monday, what I want to do is be dialing by 7:30 a.m. That's key. So dial by 7:30, be in your office or wherever you are, hopefully on work spots, hopefully in an office, hopefully engaged. Be on the Zoom. I was on the Zoom learning because you'll listen to other people and you're picking up tips while you're dialing. Then you pause, listen to the Zoom, right? You hear somebody engaged, a Hall of Fame producer, whatever. Listen, maybe even ask a question. Not contract questions, sales questions. And then when you do that, you're picking up little things and you make it yours. The script is really just to give you a track to run on. It's not to make it exactly word for word in my opinion. Because you're gonna pick up other things and changes. It gives you a track to run and keep it there as a guide if that's what you wanna do. Nothing wrong with that, but make it yours. Because the way you're talking to somebody each time is different, okay? But the schedule is you're gonna wanna book 12 to 15 here, and then 12 to 15 here, right? Really aiming for that. Minimum 24, high side 30. The other thing you're gonna do is you're gonna dial, again at 7:30 in the morning, and you're gonna dial till you get this number, till you stop, which is why you should be able to hit 15 if you commit to that. So by doing that, your calendar should be booked up every hour on the hour and a half, maybe 2, but that's why you can run 7, 8, 10 appointments in a day because you start at, say, 9 o'clock in the morning. Now here's the fun thing. If you're running final expense appointments, you're dealing with older people. So some of you can get home at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, or dinner time if you wanted to. You don't have to, but if you have a family want to get home one night a week or 2 nights a week to have dinner, you could do that and still run the same amount of appointments because you're running final expense. You get into mortgage and things like that, it's going to carry more than even, which is nothing wrong with that. I like to work. I like to serve and care for people, but while I wasn't in the field, when I got home a little earlier, 6 or 7 or 5 or whatever, I was on the phone recruiting, I was on the phone training agents and building my agency from day one. So you have 12 to 15 appointments here, you run them. Then you want to have a calendar. I don't have paper here, but I'd have blocks for Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So as I'm dialing my appointments, then I'm just filling those in. Most people have a sheet on there. You're just filling the names here, and you want it to look filled by the end of the day. Each dial day. Now, if it's not a full calendar, let's say it looks like that. You're at 7. Remember when you get to 12. Let's say you go home, you haven't finished, you dial, commit to that, get a couple more, but you still have a couple holes. My point is, if you have a couple holes in the calendar here, during those times, I would choose to door knock. I would carry my leads with me, dial, knock on their door, and see them, okay? Door knocks are great. 25% of your sales will come from door knock if you do it the right way. So you do that here, you do the same thing over here and duplicate that on Friday and Saturday. The other thing, on Friday and on Saturday, especially on Saturday, if you can book 7, 8, 10 appointments on Saturday, you can get started really early. People are out moving 8 o'clock in the morning. You can be done 3 or 4 o'clock and still have a little bit of time that evening with your family. Again, if you're looking for that change and being able to be free with your kids, go to a soccer game, whatever, you can work your schedule around that. The key is just get to the numbers, however you do it. If you run 30 appointments, you set 30 appointments, okay? You're probably not gonna run 30 in the beginning. You'll get better on the phone, right? But let's say you set 20. Have 20 that you can set. Out of 20, you might have some no-shows in here. Out of 20, you see, you set 10, and you actually get in the house, you've got a good chance of doing that. But even if you weren't even at 50% and you were worse than that, what if you only made 5 sales? Well, our average sale in the company is about $100 a sale, right? So if you take that and start doing the math and look at your contract, if our average contract's about 100%, you do the math, that's $1,200. That's about a $900 sale that's made to you. So you do the math on that, right? And that's what kind of money you make. So again, taking care of the client. But I never worried about this part, but what I did worry about are the controllables. The key in this business is the right mindset and what you can control. What you can control is your activity and your attitude. And if you do that every day, when you're dialing, you're gonna win. And also creating the right habits, which means being in the office at 7:30, dialing, committing to that. See, my wife always knew where I'd be every Monday and every Thursday, every week. She knew that. She also knew where I'd be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday every week. Some Saturdays were different. Some I might be home answering the phone calls, but I was working, I was on the Zoom answering calls, or maybe if I did have a special event that needed to be taken care of, I did that. But honestly, I was building a massive agency, just wanted to work and help people and serve them, so I was available. Made myself available at all times. The other thing I used was a dial tracker on my dial day. It's really up to you. I did because being an athlete, it was like I was counting score. So all I did was simply as I made phone calls, I just tracked them, right? On the dial tracker. And then when I talked to somebody, I marked it in here. And then when I sold one, or booked an appointment, it became X's. So dial tracker, the other thing I did on that paper, these are just little steps, not trying to overcomplicate it, but basically I had 7:30 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, and so on. And then it gave me an idea as I was going through a score. Like in other words, I talked to 15 people, I set 3, whatever, it just gave me an idea per hour kind of how I was doing. But the bottom line is I want to get to that 30. Sometimes I'd be done at 10, sometimes 11, 12, it depends. But I want to get that done so I could start recruiting or even go and run appointments or whatever. So the quicker you get the dials done, the quicker you take the action, whether it's 100 calls, 200 calls, 300 calls, whatever it is, whatever it takes to get to where you're trying to go is what matters. What matters is building that calendar and just focusing on that. Going through the leads, different techniques, different people use. Dial the phone 3 times in a row. I've heard that works. Leaving a message and just saying, hey, call me back, and your name, real simple, that works. Sending a text to get them to call you back, hey, I'm gonna be here, can you fill this form out, text? Whatever it takes, again, it's just numbers, okay? It's just going through the numbers as fast as you can, as much as you can, resolving the leads. And if you don't get a hold of them, don't get a call back, then knock on their door. Just keep it simple. But I marked it, that's what I did. That could work for you, maybe it doesn't, whatever, how you operate. Everybody was different, but for me, I wanted to have multiple lead sources. Don't overthink that. We have a massive CRM here at Family First Life. We have this amazing thing called WorkSpots. You definitely want to be on WorkSpots. Why? You get discounts on your leads. You get discounts on other things. It allows you to access any office that you want to use across the country. Being in office matters if you can get to one. Okay, if not, create your own, build a big business. That's what we did. I think the environment of the office will build your business faster. You'll be around people, you'll be around energy, and you'll learn so much faster. You can dial live with them, so get to an office near you for sure. WorkSpots is a key because you get 30% off, 25%, 50%, sometimes 70% off leads that are already minimal anyway. Power in numbers. I don't care if it's a 1 month, a 3 month lead, if it's a new Internet Life lead, whatever it is, you dial it the same way. And you don't have to change the script that much. You just work through it the way you do it, in my opinion. I just kept it simple. I didn't hesitate on the phone, and I always stayed in control. That's a key. You stay in control, not them. So those are some key on the dial days. And again, you're really just looking to get to that 30 number, okay? If you get to 20, did you fail? No, except for 30 was your goal. So you get better. In between appointments, I think for a new agent too, it's okay to dial every day. And what I mean by that is if you only got 7 or 8 appointments, you had a rough day, it's okay. People have them. Commit to the number and stick with it. But for whatever reason, if you didn't get there, guess what? You dial on Tuesday in between your appointments. You dial on Wednesday. Every day you can dial and book appointments, do it. Sometimes you'll call them at the right time and they'll be there to answer on that day, and you can show up at their house and make sales. I did it all the time. It happens. If you go to their house and they no-showed you, use the yellow sticky. It works. Again, it's another contact, another activity that you've done. The bottom line is we want to protect the customer and take care of them. And just know you're at the best place at the right time. So our job is real simple. It's showing up daily for work. What does that look like for me? It was getting up early, 4:35, okay? Whatever you want to do is fine with you, but before 6 for sure. Otherwise you're losing the day in my mind. Getting up early, exercise, read, things like that, get my mind right. Prepare on Sunday night, ready to go for Monday, meaning having your leads printed out so you don't get to the office and fumble around for 50 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes, 30, and lose a half hour of your time, because that could cost you 3 appointments, 4 or 5, who knows? Just be prepared mentally, listen to good podcasts and more while you're working out. It prepares your mind for the great day you're about to have, okay? When you're in the field, don't listen to music. Listen to podcasts in between. Or, in my case, I really didn't have a lot of time in the car because I was always on the phone talking to my agents, trying to recruit someone, hate the word try, but reaching out to people, possible recruits, or I was booking other appointments because I didn't have one. Sitting in the car, take water and a bottle of pork rinds with you. That's all you need, whatever. And keep moving all day, every day. And that's what you do. And if you do those things, you will be successful. Here's how you won't be successful. You're sitting there overthinking the phone and not picking it up. Because there's people on this that are watching this right now, they're probably more talented than the guy sitting next to them. The problem is the guy sitting next to him has worked his butt off and dialed the phone 200 times and you're still sitting there thinking about it. So stop doing that. Because he's going to win and you're going to lose. Because I can outwork anybody, I promise you. I don't care how smart you are, who you are, whatever. Let's go in a room, I'll outwork you. And I mean, that's how the attitude is about it. If you have that attitude and understand, if someone tells you to book 12 to 15, shoot for 20. If they tell you to book 30, shoot for 40. Whatever that number is, always 10x it. That was my mentality. And I just never was going to come home without protecting the family. That was my goal. Why? Because I got to feed my family too. And if you have that attitude every day and understand there are tough days, there's tough days in this business, there's tough days in life, there's tough days in everything you do, whatever job you're at. This one's no different. But the cool thing about this is you own this business. It's your business. The question is, what are you going to do with it? So those are some tips for Dial Day. Hope that helps you. Book that counter, go see the people, have energy, show up with the right mindset, and you're ready to go. We'll talk about in-home as we move forward and some other things. I hope this helps somebody today. Again, have that energy on the phone. Hesitate and modulate when you're on your phone, it's another tip. But again, just preparing for your Dial Day is everything. If you have the right preparedness and you practice, it's just like going back to Kobe Bryant as we started this thing. If you out-practice people, you out-win people. And what I mean by that is, it's your preparation means, it's your studying, it's a podcast. How much stuff can you put in your brain that's going to help you grow, or you're watching Netflix all the time? But the biggest way to learn is taking action and screwing up. You can't mess up the home, guys. So dial the phone, get good on the phone, figure it out. Get your nose bloody and don't be afraid, because there's nothing you can say wrong, right? You can't. If they hang up on you, call them back. Ask them why they hung up on you. That's ridiculous. They filled the form out. So those are some things. I hope it helps you.